I'm making an 18 karat gold ring, which is going to be set with a couple of small opals and 3 little diamonds, and it's got quite a textured band. So to make this texture, I've glued some pieces of 18 karat gold wire and some granules onto the band, and now I'm heating it so that these all fuse together. So I have to use my big fluffy flame, and I have to get the surface of the gold band to just melt sufficiently for those pieces of wire and the granules to drop into the surface of the gold. So here we go. I know when I have exactly the right heat, because I can see that the gold changes colour, and then I turn my heat off. So we're just watching it as it begins to change. It's not going to take very long. Just using the fluffy part, the fluffy end of the big flame. Okay, and that's just about got it. I'll take it off there and I put it on there to cool. The next step now is to turn it up into a ring. So I need to just clean up the edges where it's going to be soldered together, because the solder doesn't run very well if it's not clean. And there's no way of making it very round at this stage, so it has to be made as round as possible so that the ends can meet, and so that I don't do any damage to the texture, I use a little piece of leather. And that's beginning to go around, and I'll start with that side. As long as the two sides can meet neatly, I can solder it together, and then once it's soldered together I can make it round. Okay, it's beginning to go. Not at all round, as you can see, but that doesn't matter at all. Okay, near enough to get the seam soldered. So once that's straight, and the two sides are meeting, you can see I'm not very strong. So we've got the ring on there, and I'm going to put little pallets of 18 karat gold medium solder along the seam. We have to leave the solder, leave it to dry completely before we can leave the flux to dry. I've put the flux on. You have to leave that to dry completely before we can start putting the heat on, because if I put the heat on while it's still wet, it will just jump off. So that is the first thing to do. Put that on like that, and then we'll give it a minute or two to dry. Okay, that's going to do. So this time I don't want my big fluffy flame. I want just a very small hot flame, which is, don't want to set fire to my lamp, I've done that before. A very small hot flame. Possibly a little bit too big. And this is the hottest part of the flame, where the blue meets the purple. So need to heat the bottom of the ring first, because that's where, because the heat rises, obviously. And then that's melted. The next thing to do is get it as round as possible. So we want some leather again. Probably that piece is going to be good. And we have to use this ring triblet. Quite a small ring, so it's quite high up on the triblet, and it does make everything jump around on the bench, so have to be careful that things don't start falling off. Trying to keep away from the texture as much as I possibly can. It's not very easy to do that. Okay, I'm going to turn it over. So that looks to me as though, oh, it's not very much too big. It's only a jot. it's really K1/2. So I don't know that I'm going to take any more out just at the moment. I might, no, I'll just take out a very small amount. Sizing rings is just about the most difficult thing you can do. Everybody feels different about the comfort of a ring. So it's always impossible to tell exactly how a ring is going to work. I decided I'm going to have the customer in to try on the ring before I make it any smaller. So what I'm doing now is I'm just cleaning up the inside, because when she puts it on, she needs to be able to feel that it's comfortable, and if it's not been polished a little bit on the inside, it's not going to feel comfortable. So the next thing I have to do once I've done this is give the customer a call and see if she can get in to try it on. That feels good enough, I think, for her to be able to tell whether she's happy with the size. So there we are. That's it for the moment.